It's round 4 of the Toyo Tyres Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship. Once more, we're at Pembrey, but today we're running as day 2 of this doubleheader weekend in the opposite direction. We had great entertainment, great action yesterday, and there's more to come just 24 hours later. Yesterday, in glorious sunshine, it was Julian Godfrey who was the pace setter pretty much all day long. Derek Tohill and Ollie O'Donovan chased hard, but Julian Godfrey took a second win of the year, and with it, the championship lead. So Godfrey is 3 points up on Derek Tohill overnight. Steve Hill, running Ollie O'Donovan's Ford Focus this weekend, is 3rd, and O'Donovan himself is down in 4th.
Julian, a solid day here yesterday, round 3 of the British Championship. The circuit here at Pembrey is reversed for today, and you're leading the championship. That's a good place to be.
Yeah, no, I think I've got a 3-point lead now in the championship, so at the top of the stands again, so which is real good. And yeah, so going the new way around this weekend, or this week today on Sunday, and yeah, it's a totally on track going the other way, and hopefully I can get the same result today.
Roger, second day with a new car. How are you finding this layout of the Pembrey circuit?
It's okay. Better than yesterday, but yeah, it's okay.
And the car, obviously, you've got an event under your belt now. I know the conditions are difficult when you're in the pack here, but there's a lot of cars fighting for position. But are you feeling more on top of the new Fiesta?
Yeah, absolutely. Bar getting the launch sequence sort of right. I see they'll keep making the mistakes on my start. Otherwise from that, very, very happy with the car. It's handling really well, going well, yes.
And objective for today, obviously the final in round 3 yesterday was very difficult with the dusty conditions. Expected to rain later. Being a Welshman, that's probably going to suit you?
Oh, fantastic, yes, bring on the rain, please. See how we get on.
Q1 about to get underway. Andy Grant, Roger Thomas, Derek Tohill drawn on the front row ahead of Simon Horton and Ollie O'Donovan. Julian Godfrey starting at the back as we go racing. And a good start is made by Tohill, but O'Donovan tries to dive up on the inside line there. Godfrey leans on Roger Thomas, so Derek Tohill has the advantage but goes a little bit wide, and O'Donovan rattles his way up alongside. They bounce their way across the loose section for the first time here, and O'Donovan it is then who picks up the race lead as they go through Hampsons down towards Paddock and then to the hairpin that in turn swings them back onto Speedway Straight. Accelerating now up towards Brooklands. This anti-clockwise layout has a really good flow. It's one the drivers really like, and so now as the cars swing their way through the hairpin into the Toyo's chicane, Ollie O'Donovan it is on the limit here. Big sideways moment from Derek Tohill, but as they sprint their way across the loose section this time around, O'Donovan is doing his best to build up that gap. Roger Thomas now goes for the joker. Across the loose, up front, Julian Godfrey then trying to build this lead. Double winner already this year, battles on behind, look, because Tohill is crawling all over the back now of Ollie O'Donovan. Derek Tohill, the Irishman, European champion, gets his nose in front at the end of the straight, up towards the Brooklands hairpin, and through he goes into the Toyo chicane. Then now, across that slightly broken surface, back to tarmac as Simon Horton swings through in the Subaru Impreza. His first weekend this year within the British Championship, and the car is improving all the time. So now look, you've got Derek Tohill leading, 2nd is O'Donovan, 3rd is Julian Godfrey, but O'Donovan's about to go for the joker, and that means Julian Godfrey will pick up 2nd place now. O'Donovan drops back behind Roger Thomas as well. Thomas goes out wide. This is O'Donovan's chance. Can he sprint up alongside? No, not quite. So the 2 Ford Fiestas, the M Sport built car of Thomas, just ahead of the Tony Bardi run entry in the hands of Ollie O'Donovan. This, meantime, is Derek Tohill's view. The race leader comes through Toyo's now, out of the chicane. He's got the drop on Julian Godfrey for 3rd place. Roger Thomas in his first weekend with this new car going really strongly. He's looking really good. They're on the last lap there now as they power their way through Senna's and down towards Ollie's. Derek Tohill goes for the joker this time, so also does Julian Godfrey. Is that going to give Roger Thomas a chance to come up and attack them? He's going to bring down the gap, but he's not going to get quite close enough. It's still quite dusty across the middle there, look. And Derek Tohill has the advantage, so he now should be good for the race win. Roger Thomas chasing on behind Julian Godfrey, then 2nd and 3rd. O'Donovan it is in 4th place, but it's going to be very tight indeed at the end here. Derek Tohill leads the way up towards the Brooklands hairpin on the tarmac, fast section of the circuit, lots of grip afforded here. Derek Tohill on target then for the race win. He will win Q1 ahead of Godfrey, Thomas and then O'Donovan. Very lively racing indeed to kick off day 2 here at Pembrey.
Derek, that was a busy one. Finally got a win here in South Wales at Pembrey Circuit, round 4 of the British Championship.
Yeah, day 2 here, much nicer flow to the track there. Not sure if it's the opposite direction or the right direction, but whatever it is, much nicer flow to the track. So it was a close fight with Ollie. He had his elbows out, and but we got the win. So good start.
All day yesterday you were wanting to get onto the inside of the grid to be able to make the start. Now you've got that ahead of Q2. Is this the start you needed to get the championship lead back?
Absolutely, yeah. We knew if we started the outside again that heat, but we weren't at the first corner first. Ollie was, but we passed him out on track. But very short run to the first corner here, so yeah, it's a bit of a lottery, but look, all we can do is do our best and get that pole and work from there.
Ollie, that looked quite busy. Fantastic start to get the lead in the first corner, and then a good battle with Derek, but you just lost a bit of time there at the end.
Yeah, and we were very happy. We made a great start, second row again. Derek I think he was napping. We just took him on the second corner, held the lead, held a comfortable lead actually, and then more than 2/3 of the way around the track we developed a little misfire, and as we got down the back straight it just went back onto 3 cylinders. Allowed them back out in front of me, both Derek and Julian, and Roger Thomas got the advantage. So there you go. We'll have to do it all over again, I hope.
Derek Tohill, the winner on the road, but we're hearing of a track limits penalty. A 5-second penalty given to Derek Tohill for exceeding track limits. So Julian Godfrey takes the win in Q1 from Roger Thomas and Ollie O'Donovan. So plenty of drama in Q1, and Derek Tohill is going to be eager for victory in Q2 to avenge that 5-second penalty he picked up in the first race. Q2 good to go. Godfrey's on pole this time. Thomas O'Donovan on the front row. Ollie O'Donovan then lining up third ahead of Tohill, and then Steve Hill on row 2. We're racing, and a good getaway, not by Roger Thomas, who fluffs the start sequence. He gets into the back of O'Donovan, who goes sideways. Derek Tohill tries to wriggle up the inside. Thomas leans on him as well, and it's Godfrey leading the way as they hit the loose. Simon Horton's all sideways. More contact in the background. To the Joker goes Derek Tohill. Gets that out of the way early here. Across the loose they come. So can Julian Godfrey, who won Q1, lead the way here? We've got a spin from Simon Horton. This is Derek Tohill's view as he comes up onto the back of the venerable Focus of Andy Grant. Danger for Tohill here, having done that Joker early, as he's now stuck in traffic. He's got to get on with this and try to gain places. On board with Steve Hill. Remember, he's driving Ollie O'Donovan's Ford Focus, the Mitsubishi, having had dramas when it went onto the dyno earlier on in the week. So rather than skip the weekend, he's been lent a car, and Steve Hill's going really well in it. The Fiestas together, O'Donovan just ahead of local hero Roger Thomas, but Julian Godfrey's older shape Fiesta leads the way. O'Donovan here, across the loose, that misfire in Q1 delaying him. He goes for the Joker and drops back in the pack as a consequence. Thomas goes through, Hill goes through as they come across the loose now. Julian Godfrey looking good for the race win. Remember that he's had 2 wins out of the 3 rounds in the championship so far. He won at Silverstone and he won here yesterday, and that's Simon Horton in strife. The Subaru Impreza grinds to a halt as Thomas fends off Steve Hill here. The way that Steve is going, you wonder whether he's going to carry on with his car or go back to his own Mitsubishi, because he's had all sorts of grief with that over the years, and he's been bang on the money most of the weekend here in the Focus. Has a look to the inside with a tighter line. Thomas gets all sideways and drifts out wide, but he hangs onto the place as they come across the loose, or does he? Roger Thomas is going to go for the Joker. Steve Hill rides shotgun. He follows in. He goes for the Joker lap as well. Where's O'Donovan? There's O'Donovan, and there's Tohill. They go second and third now. Ollie O'Donovan with that misfire in Q1, Derek Tohill with that penalty in Q1. Both of them need a good result out of all of this. Roger Thomas doing a good job, he's fourth as Tohill now blasts up alongside O'Donovan and through he goes. Derek Tohill up to second place, covers the line as they get to the Brooklands hairpin, into the chicane, and now Tohill's target is Julian Godfrey. Can he get close to Godfrey when the race leader Jokers? Can he do anything about him? Look back from O'Donovan's car, there's Thomas breathing down his neck. There's Godfrey on the Joker lap now. Here is Derek Tohill, but I don't think he's close enough to profit. He's going to get nearer, but he's not going to get ahead. So Julian Godfrey is on target to win in Q2. Tohill here comes across the loose in the middle of the lap through Hansen's into Paddock, but he goes wide, he goes deep, and that's going to compromise him. Wide into the hairpin, up the inside, tries to squirt O'Donovan, but out the side of the hairpin comes Derek Tohill. He's going to be on target for second place, as there is Julian Godfrey. He pendulums through the Toyo chicane. He's going to come through to score the win, and so it's 2 from 2 from Julian Godfrey's point of view. He won Q1, he wins Q2. Derek Tohill is on target for second place. And who's going to be third? Ollie O'Donovan it is, who just takes it from Roger Thomas. Steve Hill, 5th, and Andy Grant and Simon Horton, 6th and 7th. There is Simon Horton after dramas, contact, a spin. It's been a pretty checkered race for him, but he chases Andy Grant's Ford Focus home. So Julian Godfrey has done it again, this time 7.5 seconds to the good. Julian Godfrey wins Q2 ahead of Derek Tohill. Ollie O'Donovan third from Roger Thomas, then it's Steve Hill, Andy Grant and Simon Horton.
Steve Hill, your second day in Ollie O'Donovan's Ford Focus Supercar here at Pembrey, round 4 of British RX. You've just done Q2, how's it going so far?
Yeah, I'm really getting to grips with the car slowly. Overdriving it yesterday a bit, and I think now I'm neatening it up a bit, it's going a bit quicker.
And the track flows in a different way for round 4, doesn't it? How are you finding that?
Yeah, I do prefer it this way, it does flow much better.
And quite congested at the start. It's quite tight in the first couple of corners, so grid position's key really to getting a good time.
Yeah, it's not great starting on the back row of the random grids and then having to fight your way to the front during the day, but that's the way it is. I want time practice. Let's get some time practice, then we get a proper grid position and take it from there.
Here at Pembrey, we are ready for Q3 in the Toyo Tyres Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship. The supercars launch off the grid. Julian Godfrey's white and blue Fiesta on pole, Derek Tohill, and then the yellow Fiesta of Ollie O'Donovan alongside him. Godfrey leads as they wriggle their way for the first time through Ollie's and now hit the loose. Through Hansen's they come. Does anybody go for the Joker on this opening lap? Yes, Andy Grant in the background goes for the Joker, and Ollie O'Donovan gets right into the back of Derek Tohill, gives him a big whack there. Tohill hangs on to his second place, but O'Donovan getting very aggressive as Julian Godfrey leads the way. The championship leader is the race leader. He's also been fastest in Q1 and Q2. Up to the Brooklands hairpin they turn, then to the chicane. A little bit of smoke out of Derek Tohill's car. Now, is that mechanical or is that bodywork against the tyre after the earlier contact? Looks okay, he's carrying on. There's O'Donovan in the yellow Fiesta rather, going wide. Roger Thomas comes up to have a go. The Steve Hill in the yellow Focus next in the queue as they come now across the loose once more. This the anti-clockwise layout of Pembrey. Steve Hill goes for the Joker incidentally, and this a layout the drivers seem to prefer, seems to have a better flow to it. Through the hairpin here, back onto Speedway straight, and Julian Godfrey the race leader. Now let's see whether he's going to be caught. Derek Tohill is the man there. Look, the Irish driver who won at Lyddon doing the chasing. Julian Godfrey 5 times a British champion. Derek Tohill has been a multiple Irish champion, but also European class champion in the history of the European Rallycross Championship in its earlier iteration. So he too is a hugely experienced, very, very accomplished driver, and now he's taking the fight to Godfrey. First time he's raced at many of the British circuits, so certainly this track introduced last year, this new configuration of Pembrey, new to Derek Tohill, but he's adapting well. He goes for the Joker, so does Roger Thomas behind him. Through Hansen's they come now. That's Steve Hill in the yellow Focus on the back of Roger Thomas. The M Sport built Ford Fiesta comes now down towards the hairpin. He takes a tight line and covers off Steve Hill. That's Godfrey. Julian Godfrey is the race leader, the race prep man, leads the way. O'Donovan up to second on the Joker, and Julian Godfrey in the older style Fiesta onto his last lap here, trying to pull clear. Steve Hill chasing after Roger Thomas. Steve, after dramas with his own car, his Mitsubishi taking over Ollie O'Donovan's Focus, are going really well. Julian Godfrey goes for the Joker. Is that going to affect him? Well, we've got drama for Roger Thomas, who's been off the road and back on again. He's had a bit of a spin, slides off the road, rejoins, but that's going to cost him dear. He rejoins behind the Andy Grant Simon Horton battle. There are the leaders. Julian Godfrey just ahead of Derek Tohill, so it looks like Julian's going to hang on for another race win, and that's going to put him quickest in Q1, Q2 and Q3. Grant, Horton, and then the recovering Thomas through the hairpin. Andy Grant, the garage owner, goes a little bit wide. Simon Horton doesn't get the run out of the corner, and so the more recently built Fiesta storms past in the hands of Roger Thomas. It's a win though for Julian Godfrey, ahead of Derek Tohill, and third is going to go the way in this third race for the supercars for Ollie O'Donovan, and that is Roger Thomas off the road once again. He's having a rather fraught day. So Julian Godfrey wins by just over a second, much closer this time over Derek Tohill. Ollie O'Donovan third. So let's have a look. It was Julian Godfrey then, the fastest from Derek Tohill. Ollie O'Donovan third from Steve Hill. Andy Grant fifth, then Roger Thomas, and Simon Horton in seventh.
Derek, we're not used to seeing you showing much emotion, but after Q3 they're a bit animated. How did you see the race from your point of view?
Yeah, it was. We had a good race, but you know, we got shoved from behind quite a bit. You can see we've received penalties for the smallest of things all weekend, and anyway, look, we still got the position we needed in the heat, so puts us second on the grid for the final, which is good, and the rain is coming, which is even better.
Simon, I think it's fair to say you've had a bit of a tricky first British Championship weekend with the Subaru, but you've plugged away, you've made some improvements, and now the rain's coming and that plays to your advantages.
Hopefully. Yep. The first day was tricky, the Saturday. Sunday's been better. We had various issues yesterday. Today's been pretty faultless, if I'm honest with you. Managed to dial in some settings, launch control, anti-lag, these kind of things to get it offline better, turn-ins a little bit better. We had a tricky heat 2, there was quite a lot of contact out there. But yeah, generally we're chipping away at it. We're doing the best we can, and it's progress. You know, it's our first outing in the British with a newly rebuilt car. There's a lot of resetting on the expectations. You know, a lot of geometry is different, so just trying to figure it out.
It's been a busy weekend so far. 2 rounds in 2 days, 2 different directions on the circuit, but you've been going pretty well. How's it been from your point of view?
Well, I reckon tomorrow I'm going to be tired after 2 days of driving that track. But yeah, it's been good. We had a bit of contact Q3 or 2. We spent the steering, but we sorted that out, and yeah, it's all right.
The rain's falling now. You're on the third row of the grid for the final, but you're a wily old fox, so you've been in this situation many times. What are you expecting from the final?
Well, we've been arguing about what tyres to put on, so we're just waiting as long as we can, but we'll be thereabouts.
Julian, we've just dragged you away from filling up the washer bottle on your car. The rain's hit now, hasn't it? You've just had a clean sweep in qualifying, fastest in every session, but it's going to be a different final.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very different. The rain is getting heavier and heavier, so it looks like it's going to be either in the European slicks or might even go on to the wets. So we're waiting to the very last minute to make the decision.
The track's been dry all weekend, hasn't it? And at the moment it's dry, but maybe a little bit greasy from the amount of rain. How much more does it need to rain? There's only a few minutes to go before the final, before you go on to the wets.
It needs to be a bit of standing water really with the wets. With just a light rain now, if it stopped now, then we go on to the European slicks, which have got just a few cuts. So if it did get a little bit worse, you got a bit of a cushion on you.
Steve, it looks to me like you're getting more and more on top of the focus. We're getting to the end of a 2-day weekend. At round 4 of the British Championship, you're starting on the second row of the grid from the final. What can you do from there to make it to the podium?
It's going to be hard. It's outside second row is not an easy place to sort of have any influence on the first corner, but we'll see if it comes clean enough. I can joke early maybe, but the pace is now in the car, or the pace is now in me, so much closer to the others.
We always get great racing out of the Super National Championship as well. Tristan Ovenden has been the man to beat this weekend and this season. Ovenden, who has won all 3 of the previous rounds, was quickest in Q1 from Craig Lomax, and Paige Bellaby having a better run today than yesterday. But Ovenden was fastest again in Q2, Craig Lomax second fastest. We're ready for Q3. Ovenden alongside Paige Bellaby, and then Jarek Sukovitsky on the front row as the lights go to green. Ovenden with that omnipotent Clio V6 blasts away. Paige Bellaby comes up to have a go on the outside as they head towards Ollie's then and wriggle their way onto the loose. This is Craig Lomax's view. Won in Super 1600 yesterday, and Leanne Sedgwick, there in the Mini, leans on him a little bit and then goes for the Joker lap. 24 is Lomax, and he's on the back of an understeering Sukovitsky. The road now is getting slippy, no question about it. The rain, or the drizzle at least, is falling, and it certainly has made a very slippery circuit. Two-wheel drive cars these. Rear-wheel drive Clio leads the way. There is Craig Lomax in that Super 1600 spec Citroen, and this is his view. Hits fourth gear and then hits the brakes going towards the Brooklands hairpin. Hard at work, chasing after Sukovicki ahead of him. Through they turn, the two of them tied together now. Up front, Tristan Avondon though, looking good, perhaps for the race win. Can he stretch the advantage, or are these conditions going to go against him? Let's see. Across the loose towards Hanson's, Craig Lomax goes for the joker lap. Sukovicki still battles on, and he's therefore the leading of the Super 1600 drivers. This year, Super National and Super 1600 merged together. The BMW Minis, of course, as last year, split out. They have their own championship as the numbers are boosting once again. So there's Avondon. He's the leader, and is he getting away from Paige Bellaby? She had a rotten day yesterday with damage, with a snap drive shaft. Today it's going a lot better as the rest of the field comes through. There's Dave Ellis, the black Suzuki Swift, keeping Slavomir Volok's Citroen Saxo at bay. Paige Bellaby in the meantime threads out of the hairpin into the Toyo chicane, but Avondon just seems to have the advantage here. Across the loose he comes once more. Turning their way now across that loose section, and although the gap is not a huge one, Bellaby rides the curb and gets a little bit sideways. She's good on the brakes going into the hairpin, but this is the ideal part of the circuit for the Renault. All of that power kicks in, and Avondon is away and gone. Blasts up the straight. He's going to be quickest, seemingly, in Q3 once more, just as he was in Q1 and Q2, and that's going to put him on pole for the final. Paige Bellaby having a far, far better day today, staying in touch with the Renault as they come over the timing line to start the last lap then in Q3. Avondon through the chicane, up now towards the final part of the lap, and that's Bellaby in strife. Paige Bellaby has had a spin, she gets going again, but that car as it rejoins, badly delayed. Avondon it is, across the loose section, as there in 717 is Dave Ellis. He had a really good day yesterday, here for a bit of fun, suddenly found himself running quite competitively. Wheel lifting as he makes his way onto the loose through Hanson's. Out of the hairpin comes Paige Bellaby. Now look, you can see the way that Lomax has got himself ahead of Sukovicki on the jokers. So Craig Lomax going strongly. He's gained track position as there Avondon comes through the chicane up towards the timing line, and another victory in Super National goes the way here of Tristan Avondon. Paige Bellaby second, there she is across the line despite that off, and Craig Lomax is going to be the first one home in Super 1600. So Craig Lomax it is that takes third ahead of Jarek Sukovicki, Leanne Sedgwick's Mini fifth, and that's Dave Ellis with his Suzuki Swift on target for sixth place. Avondon though, unstoppable. So Tristan Avondon has done it again. He's fastest across Q1, Q2 and Q3, with Craig Lomax then taking third behind Paige Bellaby in this, the third round of heats. Jarek Sukovicki fourth. In terms of points, Tristan Avondon is ahead of now Craig Lomax, with Jarek Sukovicki third as we get set for the finals. We've also got, of course, the Supercar final to look forward to. There's more action after the break. The Motorsport UK Junior Rallycross Championship has delivered bags of action, and we had a first-time winner yesterday, Robert Vitals. After qualifying, Robert was the man that topped the times in Q1, but Luke Constantine, who's had 2 wins, was quickest in Q2 and Q3. The grid is formed on now a slippery track. Luke Constantine it is, who is on pole position. Robert Vitals, middle of the front row, then James Constantine. Ben Sayer shares row 2 with Tom Avondon, whose dad Tristan's having a good season in Super National. Patrick O'Donovan shares row 3 with Archie Thomas and Alfie Porter. Lights go to green, we're racing. On board with Patrick O'Donovan, makes a good start from the third row, slides his way up the inside, and all of these Suzuki Swifts have to wriggle around for traction. O'Donovan gets a helping hand and he gets all sideways. Ben Sayer gets into him. O'Donovan's car pendulums as there. Look for the joker. Goes Luke Constantine, and that's going to drop him in the pack, but he's got that out of the way, and so he will pick up places as everybody else serves the joker. There's damage already then on Roberts Vittol's car. Yesterday's winner leads the way as he comes down through the hairpin. Patrick O'Donovan hard at work, but there's more drama ahead of him. Ovenden gets all crossed up and is slow, also delayed, Alfie Porter and Archie Thomas. So these conditions being a real test for the drivers. It's hard enough racing on this surface anyway, never mind the fact that you've got the loose to contend with and you're bringing the loose onto the tarmac. Recovering in the red car, Tom Ovenden. Now look at Ben Sayer going strongly. He's all over the back of Patrick O'Donovan here. O'Donovan, son of Ollie O'Donovan, the supercar star, British champion. Roberts Vittol's then leads the way, and doing the chasing is James Constantine. Small gap opening up, but O'Donovan has actually had a pretty good first lap, given that he was all sideways and being lent on here a lap ago. He has battled his way into contention, and this is his view. Wipers on. Across the loose he goes, but Roberts Vittol's the man that won yesterday, leading here in the opposite direction. Yesterday it was the clockwise circuit, today anti-clockwise, and lots of understeer forces Patrick O'Donovan out wide. There, Luke Constantine chasing after him, the double winner, but Constantine not really making progress yet. O'Donovan grabs a gear. Roberts Vittol's then, the Latvian, leads the way, and more understeer, forcing Constantine L out wide there. Luke Constantine very nearly runs onto the grass. Good battle behind. Look there, you've got this fight going on between Archie Thomas and Alfie Porter as they now come out of the chicane. The other red car, that of Tom Ovenden, is tucked up behind them, but the race leader, Roberts Vittol's, is looking mighty strong at the moment. Has he done enough, though, to preserve this lead on the joker lap? They're going through, you can see this battle between Thomas and Porter. And then, in fact, it's a three-way fight because Tom Ovenden has joined in that queue of cars as well. Across the loose they come then. Looking good is the understeering car at the head of that little pack. That means that Archie Thomas, just for the moment, has the advantage there. Now Roberts Vittol's it is that leads the pack. He's still got that little bit of trim hanging off the back. Testimony to how fraught it was early on in the race. But Vittol's has the advantage currently. Luke Constantine drops back on the joker behind Patrick O'Donovan. What can he do now? There you've got James Constantine. He's jokered and fallen down the pack into the clutches of Ben Sayer. So James Constantine on that joker lap loses ground, and Ben Sayer comes up to have a go at him. If they carry on squabbling for second place, then that's going to really play into the hands of Roberts Vittol's here. Ben Sayer tucked up behind James Constantine as he understeers his way across the infield through Hanson's. So you've got a strip of hard standing there anyway. That's slippery, and you've got the shale that's brought onto the surface, so it really has become a very testing track now, Pembrey. Look at the understeer that O'Donovan's yellow car has got as he tries to edge the car back onto the road. Battle on, second, third and fourth as they come up towards the hairpin here. Brake hard, turn through that right-hander. And there you've got Ben Sayer accelerating his way through, crawling all over the back of James Constantine. Across the loose comes Roberts Vittol's. And he is on target, it seems, for a second win of not only the season but the weekend, because on the joker he just stays ahead there. He has got right behind him Luke Constantine, who's had 2 wins as well this season. But now, assuming he doesn't make a mistake here, Roberts Vittol's is on target for a win, or is he? He goes a little bit deep through the corner. Constantine gets right onto his tail. Vittol's moves across and defends. Constantine has to switch sides. So Luke Constantine now up towards the hairpin. Is he going to be able to go around the outside of Vittol's? No, he's not. Can he get the undercut? He tries. He's up the curb. They lean on each other as he gets into the side of the Latvian. But Roberts Vittol's, despite the damage, is going to hang on in there, and he is going to come through and score a win for the second time this season. Roberts Vittol's wins the junior final. Great race with Luke Constantine. It's a second win of the season, a second win of the weekend for Roberts Vittol's from Luke Constantine. Patrick O'Donovan third ahead of James Constantine and Ben Sayer. Archie Thomas sixth from Alfie Porter, and Tom Ovenden in 8th. So Luke Constantine 6 points ahead now in the championship over Patrick O'Donovan, with Roberts Vittol's in 3rd.
I mean, we've had a bad day all day. We started off bad, it got worse, and then we were 6th for the final, going into the first turn. we managed to get it up. We managed to make our way through the pack, and it goes towards the championship. So every consistent top place win helps, I guess.
We're ready for the Motorsport UK Super National Rallycross Championship final. Tristan Ovenden starts on pole from Paige Bellaby and Jarek Sukovicki. Then Craig Lomax and Dave Ellis on row 2. Leanne Sedgwick and Slavomir Bolok are on the 3rd row of the grid. As the lights go green, we are racing. And Ovenden manages to get all the power of the Clio down, so he will lead on the run now up towards turn 1. There's drama in the pack though. Craig Lomax gets rather pincered there as he tries to go for a gap that soon disappears. Bellaby then 2nd, Jarek Sukovicki 3rd, leading the Super 1600 brigade as Ovenden's Clio slides its way across the loose at Hanson's. Down they come, heading through paddock and then on towards the hairpin. Tristan Ovenden it is who leads the way, and as the cars now accelerate back onto Speedway Straight, can Paige Bellaby in these slippery conditions do anything about the Renault ahead? The gap widens just a touch in a straight line here. Up they come towards Brooklands, and Tristan Ovenden looking to maintain this remarkable 100% record. He leads the way. Paige Bellaby there in 2nd spot, look, as the cars dance their way through the chicane once more. Leanne Sedgwick, who missed day 1 of the weekend but going strongly now in the Mini, former oval racer, comes up, hits the tarmac out of the chicane and accelerates through Senna's down towards Ollie's. So Leanne, who races in this rather than in the Mini Championship this weekend, accelerates across the loose and going strongly, chasing after Paige Bellaby in this unofficial Coupe des Dames. Slavomir Bolok in the background goes for the Joker. Up front though, Tristan Ovenden still leads the way. That's Dave Ellis getting ahead of Bolok. Troubles with his Fiesta, so he's dusted down his Citroen Saxo for the weekend just so he can come and get some points in the championship. That lead gap's coming down, look, Paige Bellaby is certainly closing now on Tristan Ovenden. Through the chicane they come, the Clio hanging onto the advantage, but Ovenden having to be careful in these really treacherous conditions now. Paige Bellaby accelerates on. Comes from good racing stock, of course. Her sister is in the Mini Championship. Dad Dave has been a rallycrosser for many, many years and was in supercars a couple of seasons back. We'd like him back as well. Across the loose comes Ovenden. The gap is down by another length as Paige Bellaby tries to get the best of the conditions, the best of the traction. There's the Polish driver, Slavomir Bolok. But having served his Joker, he's fallen back some way now from Dave Ellis, and the lead gap is nothing at all, look, as they come through the hairpin. On the power, sprinting their way up now towards Brooklands hairpin here. Tristan Ovenden looking good, and he's looking good for a 4th win out of 4 races. Slavomir Bolok a bit lonely now as he tries to hunt down this man, Dave Ellis, who understeers his way through the hairpin and back onto tarmac. Craig Lomax across the loose once again. 3 turns, then wheel lifting. Lomax aiming for Super 1600 honours here, but Jarek Sukovicki, who's been getting better and better and better all season, has the advantage currently. Paige Bellaby now goes for the Joker, and that's going to widen that gap against the race leader. On board with Lomax, fighting for control. Front-wheel drive Super 1600 machinery, and he inches up onto the back of Sukovicki down at the hairpin. Craig having a good weekend here. What can he do about the Polish driver ahead of him? On board, grabs a gear, and then brakes hard. Down the box he goes, into the hairpin. Tries to avoid any understeer as he flicks the car through that tight left into the Toyo chicane now. Back to the tarmac, and then down to the loose. They will turn in a moment out of Ollie's and towards Hanson's. The gap is down, certainly between the Super 1600 top 2. Across the loose goes Sukovicki, but Lomax is going to now pick up the advantage as Sukovicki Jokers. There are the leaders as well. Bellaby coming back now at Ovenden. So Tristan Ovenden, having served his Joker, comes under renewed attack. There's understeer there, so there is from Bellaby as well. So she doesn't really benefit out of all of that as she hits the tarmac once more. Paige accelerates along Speedway Straight, but Ovenden does get away here. Brake hard, turn into that left-hander, and Paige Bellaby having a good run here. This might not turn out to be a win, but it will be points in the championship. Tristan Ovenden starts his last lap. There is Bellaby absolutely on the limit. Look as she runs out wide. Down towards Ollie's, through that tight left, and then they hit the loose across the infield of the circuit, the top part of Pembrey. Very different configuration from the previous iteration of the Pembrey Rallycross track that had the European Championship here briefly for a time. And through Hanson's, named after 14 times European champion Kenneth Hansen, they go. There is Dave Ellis. He is still on target for points, but not for a podium today, seemingly, as Jarek Sukowicki is chasing after Craig Lomax for Super 1600 honours. Checkered flag awaits. It's going to be 4 out of 4 for Tristan Ovenden, unless he makes a mistake here. Through he turns. There, you've got Paige Bellaby. She's going to be second. It's going to be points in the championship, but Tristan Ovenden will do it again. 4 out of 4. Second goes the way of Paige Bellaby, and Craig Lomax looks like it's going to be a double in Super 1600. 2 out of 2. He takes the checkered flag. So Tristan Ovenden continues the 100% record in the Motorsport UK Super National Rallycross Championship from Paige Bellaby and Craig Lomax in third.
Tristan, not your favourite conditions, not the car's favourite conditions, but a really solid drive there in the final to win your second event in a row here at Pembrey and continue your undefeated run this season.
Yeah, it's been a really, really great weekend, and today the rain has been forecast and it turned up absolutely when they said. And we knew it was coming, so I had the set up in my mind that we were going to try and make that final work, and it worked out. I'm so pleased.
A lot of pressure from Paige in the final.
Yes, because I knew she'd be super quick in the rain, suits her a little bit more. So yeah, had to get it right and be really tidy, and it worked out.
Paige, super frustrating day for you in round 3 here at Pembrey. Round 4, running the track in a different way. Looks like you've been well on top of the car. You've been making good starts and really, really pushed Tristan in the final.
Yeah, we were fighting a little bit yesterday. We missed Q2, just went at the grids in time. The drive shaft snapped on the line on Q3, and then it was a complete disaster in the final. We made all the repairs we needed to overnight. We made some changes to the suspension setup, which has paid off so much here. And to be so close to Tristan and know that it was only on the straight line where he was gaining any advantage on me was an absolutely amazing feeling. So yeah, great.
Craig, yet another strong day for you in both the Super 1600 category and the Super National category, and the rain really brought it to you. Fantastic drive in the final.
Yeah, the rain, it helped out a little bit. Obviously, it brought the gap down with the Super Nationals and Super 1600, but yeah, it paid off in the final with first in Super 1600 again and third in Super Nationals, so we can't grumble for the weekend. So we've come away with some good point.
As far as the championship is concerned now in Super National, Tristan Ovenden is storming clear. 22 points up on Paige Bellaby. Craig Lomax third from Jarek Sukowicki in fourth. We've had some great racing, of course, all day. Some controversial racing, too, in the supercars in the Toyota's Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship. Derek Tohill, after an elbows out first race, was the man that took the checkered flag first, but then was given a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. He'd been battling with Ollie O'Donovan, who's been struggling all day with a misfire. It was a great battle between the two of them, but eventually Julian Godfrey was the man that was given the win after that penalty for Tohill. Godfrey was unstoppable in the second race as well. Derek Tohill was forced to battle early on with Roger Thomas. That dropped him back a little bit, and when he jokered, he had the hard work to do. Simon Horton was in strife with a spin and some damage, so Godfrey made it 2 out of 2. And then the third race was Godfrey's once more. On the inside line, he had pole and he had the lead going through the first turn down towards Hanson's onto the loose. Derek Tohill was the man doing the chasing, and he had the gap at just 11/10 of a second, but Julian Godfrey yet again came through to score victory. He's the man to beat in the final. So, after qualifying, Julian Godfrey it is, quickest across the three. He'll have pole position from Derek Tohill. Ollie O'Donovan will line up third on the grid.
An Irishman racing in Wales, that's got rain written all over it, hasn't it? So this must play to your advantages?
Yeah, look, I like the wet, but it is a bit more Russian roulette with the wet. So we'll wait and see. It may or may not, but I certainly like it, so game on.
There's 3 real options of tyre here, aren't there? There's the full wet, the World Championship, Cooper, which is a bit cut, or the full slick. What are you likely to go on if the conditions stay as they are now?
This minute it'd probably be the cut slick, which effectively is a dry tyre, but that's changing by the minute, so it's going to be full wets by the time we're out there. I think the weather is here to stay.
Ollie, finally the car's on song. You had a good run there in Q3, outside of the grid for the final. What can you do from there?
Not a lot, Hal. I started Q3 from the outside, and unfortunately Julian and Derek just make their cars extra wide. They know I'm out there and they're going to hang me out. So I presume for the final they're going to do the same thing and hang me out. So just try and make a tidy start, try and protect position 3 if I can, and see what we can do with the race after that.
The final about to get underway. This round 4 of the Toyo Tyres Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship. The grid lines up with Julian Godfrey then on pole position. With him, Derek Tohill and Ollie O'Donovan on row 1. Row 2, Roger Thomas and Steve Hill. Andy Grant shares the 3rd row with Simon Horton. 6 laps about to get underway then. Who is going to make the best start? Julian Godfrey has the line. He's got the best rank, that inside line, as the lights go green and it's blast off on a slippery road. O'Donovan launches away nicely. Godfrey bogs down. Tohill is going to grab the whole shot though, and Derek Tohill leads as he slides through the first couple of corners out of that chicane, and Tohill has done it. Absolutely brilliant start. This is crucial for the Irishman. Derek Tohill leads the way straight off. Andy Grant jokers, and so just ahead of him goes Steve Hill, and Ollie O'Donovan is now not only in 2nd place chasing Tohill, but he's having to defend from Julian Godfrey. Here they come then, across the loose for the first time. Through the hairpin, onto Speedway straight, up through the gears. There's Julian Godfrey making his move on the inside, and he leads on O'Donovan. Godfrey gets squeezed onto the grass, and all of that lets Derek Tohill here get further ahead. Through Brooklands they come now. Julian Godfrey frustrated, he can't find a way past O'Donovan. Ollie has been struggling all day with a misfire. I just wonder whether it's still there, because look, he can't get away from Godfrey. The gap's elasticated somewhat. Now Derek Tohill needs to push on here and try and build the advantage and time this joker to perfection. It's 2-1, Godfrey to Tohill. England over Ireland effectively, and as Godfrey jokers to get out of the traffic, Derek Tohill leads, with now Ollie O'Donovan trying to pick up the pace and go after the leader. Julian Godfrey blends back in behind Roger Thomas. The best of those that have jokered is him, because Hill and Grant are behind him. Tohill back to tarmac. There is O'Donovan in 2nd place. And this is Derek Tohill's view. Remember, he's racing here for the first time. He wasn't sure when he came to Silverstone, Derek Tohill, whether he would do a full season in the British Championship. Well, he enjoyed Silverstone, he won at Lyddon, so now very much committed. And can this put him back into the lead of the championship if he were to beat Godfrey, if he were to win this final? There is Julian Godfrey, 5 times a British champ. Started the year with a Mitsubishi Mirage, now with the Fiesta, and he understeers a little bit deep there going through Ollie's. Roger Thomas getting better and better and better all the time in his Fiesta, hunting down Ollie O'Donovan now. He serves the joker, and Godfrey goes ahead of him, and Simon Horton goes ahead of him as well. Horton in that Subaru, look, getting much, much quicker in these greasy conditions. Didn't seem to like the dry. O'Donovan drifts out way, way wide at the hairpin. So does Horton. Godfrey gains ground over both of them. Steve Hill accelerating his way back onto the tarmac, and now up towards Brooklands they blast. So Derek Tohill continues to build the gap here up front, but now look, Roger Thomas comes up to have a go at an understeering Simon Horton, who gets into the side of him, not deliberately, that was the understeer forcing him that way, and Thomas tries to get but he can't do it. Simon Horton actually hanging onto the place nicely. Thomas to the inside, into the back. Take that, Simon, he says. You lent on me, I'll lean on you. That forces Simon Horton way, way out wide. He gets into the side of Thomas as the Fiesta goes across the front, and now Simon Horton goes for the joker. For about 5 seconds, there's tranquility for him. Steve Hill gets ahead. So lively racing in these very slippy conditions. This is Steve Hill's view. Tweak of the handbrake to drag the car round the hairpin. Up through the gears, back on the power. But Derek Tohill continues to lead the way. There, 2nd and 3rd, O'Donovan ahead of Julian Godfrey. And these two battling means that Derek Tohill is able to drive his race, take his lines, and try to pull clear. O'Donovan at Ollie's, defends the corner, defends from Julian Godfrey. Ollie O'Donovan normally goes very well around here, but this misfire really has plagued him today. He was in the walls yesterday. He had to helicopter his way up to another team in order to get some spare parts to stay in the event. So there's been a huge amount of commitment put in for the London-based Irishman this weekend, but it's not going to net a win. Into the back of him goes Godfrey, and through goes Godfrey on the inside. O'Donovan then goes wide. And look, again, he just does not seem to have the grunt out of the corner. Maybe this misfire is back again, because he was struggling to keep Godfrey at bay. The pace was going, and Godfrey, having gone through, storms away. And that's unlike Ollie O'Donovan. It's almost like he just can't compete. So over the timing line, onto the last lap, Derek Tohill it is that leads the way. And right now, this is looking so good for the Irishman. Godfrey up into 2nd place. Can he do anything about Derek on the last lap? A win at Lyddon and a win first time on this configuration of Pembrey. This anti-clockwise layout then for Derek Tohill, and he is the man leading the pack as he comes through Hanson's into paddock, and now the hairpin. Slides wide, so does Godfrey. Julian Godfrey in second place. Ollie O'Donovan there, look, in third, takes a much tighter line, but it doesn't actually benefit him. Derek Tohill through the hairpin at Brooklands, he will come, and then into the chicane. The win is his for the taking. Their second, look, you've got the Fiesta of Julian Godfrey, and then third as they blast their way to the line is O'Donovan. Derek Tohill wins for the second time this year. Second is Godfrey, third is O'Donovan, and that's great news for Derek Tohill as far as the championship is concerned. It's been a pretty fraught day, what with penalties, what with contact, but when it matters, Derek Tohill is on top and absolutely inch perfect. Derek Tohill wins round 4 of the Toyo Tyres Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship here at Pembrey. Great stuff from Derek Tohill then to win by nearly a second and a half from Julian Godfrey. Ollie O'Donovan bags third ahead of Roger Thomas, Steve Hill and Andy Grant, with Simon Horton in 7th.
Enjoy driving in the wet, and I knew if I got to start, I have a good feel off the line in the wet for the car. And so yeah, we got a great start and never looked back really. Drove our own race, and it looks like, yeah, the slower the faster around here.
Made a bit of a mess to start and got too much wheel spin, and then just really made a mess of it, and so allowed Ollie and Derek to go into the corner first. Got up to Roger Cash and Derek, and a few more laps than I've been on Derek, and but yeah, so you got the win. But second's good points, and I'm not sure where I'm in the championship, where it's equal points or 1 point ahead.
Ollie, you always go well in the wet. A good start in the final, a little toss with Derek into the first corner, and then a real hard fight with Julian through the race. Yeah,
I was really geared up, Hal. When the rain came in, I have to say I was quite happy about that. I like the slippery conditions. Got a good start from outside row again. Derek got in front, and then my car immediately developed a misfire. We've had it all day, don't know what it is, and I think it cost me a good second place. Derek drove well, Derek won it, but I do believe I had to beat Julian in that race today.
So what does all this do to the championship? It means Julian Godfrey and Derek Tohill are tied on points. Steve Hill is up to third, Ollie O'Donovan fourth, and then it's Andy Grant in fifth. The championship now has a summer break, but action will be renewed at the end of August when we go back to Lyddon Hill. We'll see you there.